excitement.
Good,
Yeah, I'm excited, man. We haven't done a threesome in a while.
Straight in there with the innuendo.
The Fantasy Football Tips Podcast with Mills, JP, Quigliano, and Cliff.
Hi, you're listening to the Fantasy Football Edge podcast. My name is Mills. It's game week 29, and it's a special week this week because we've got the full trio. It's a trio of football pundits. It's Mills, JP, and Quigliano. It was a strange situation there, gents, that I couldn't even get my words out. How are you
Couldn't
both?
find the word contingent.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, there were probably about 5 or 6 words I could have plucked from the English dictionary there, but couldn't find any of them. Quigliano, you return. How's life with the great Quigliano?
It's okay. I'm making a steady recovery in terms of FPL, just chipping away. So the dark horse in the league now, really. Teams full of a few differentials, which fill me with a bit of hope. Could go one way or the other, but climbing the table. People are looking over their shoulder all of a sudden.
Well, I'm looking up to you now, so yeah, you've certainly caught my eye. And JP, Quigliano's back, but we're going to stick with yourself for many of the tips this week. You've been in pretty decent form over the last few weeks. How do you feel? How's the pressure going to stack up with Quigliano actually on the podcast this week?
Yeah, there's some pressure there. I feel honoured, first and foremost. It's nice to know that my form on the podcast has been better than my form within the league.
That's not difficult.
So I feel like it's big shoes to fill, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, this has happened in the past, and I've crashed and burnt, so we'll see if that happens again. Hopefully not. Good
stuff. Looking forward to it, gents. We've got some new feature. Well, we've got a brand new feature this week. I'm going to bring something in. I felt you weren't particularly happy with Stat Attack, so I've got something brand new called Play Your Players Right. we're gonna bring that in later. And the feature last week, Ask JP, I did enjoy it, and I've got a real cracker of a question for JP this week. We're not going to have any podcast extra time, so we're going to keep it short and sweet this week. So what that basically means is everyone's going to get everything for free this week, which is fantastic. And if you haven't heard Ask JP before, I think this week is going to be pretty decent. So stick around for that. But without further ado, gentlemen, I think we are here first and foremost to give out a few fantasy football tips. So JP, the floor is yours with the Gary of the week.
Absolutely. Well, I think there were two very obvious shouts for the Gary of the Week this week. You've got Harry Kane playing against Huddersfield at home, or you had Mohamed Salah playing against Newcastle at home. Both are very, very likely to score goals. I think in recent form, I'm going to have to tip Mohamed Salah. I think he's going to score against Newcastle, and I think they're going to win quite heavily.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It certainly looks that way. The pointers are certainly there. Quigliano, are you happy with that as a Gary?
Yeah, he's done well. He's picked out the two key players there in terms of guaranteed points. So yeah, I think it's dangerous not to hold Kane, and I don't currently have him in my team. So yeah, but Salah is, everyone's got him now, so or should do. So good choice, JP. Well done.
Thank you. A fairly easy one. Let's not lie.
We eased him in gently there. Okay. I think we are going. Are we going to Quigliano for the long shot? Because JP couldn't quite come up with one.
Is that okay?
We are, yeah. And I've moved my original long shot. He's just moved down to a side tip. The long shot I'm going for is Emre Can or Chan, however you want to pronounce that. Done quite well recently. I know this is looking like his last season at Liverpool, but he is a cheap option in that midfield. I know a lot of people, including Mills, went Oxlade-Chamberlain thinking they could get some value there as a cheap midfielder, but didn't really get the game time, didn't get the points either, whereas Chan is somebody who is chipping in. So as a long shot, if you want a fourth midfielder who is fairly cheap, is reasonably priced for some potential points in a very attacking Liverpool team, maybe throw him in there as a long shot. Thoughts on that?
Do you know what? I think that's a phenomenal switch, actually, Quigliano, and it almost could be a steal or no deal. It's that good.
Oh, Millsy, sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you. I'm heartbroken. I promise you it's exactly what I've got written down as my steal or no deal. It's exactly what I had at 4.9 million. I'm heartbroken. Quigliano, great minds think alike, my friend.
Mate, I mean, it's
Brilliant shouts.
the same as me.
Devastated.
It's the same as me as last
I,
Friday.
I thought Steve was at the door again then. I thought that...
I
mean, let's be honest, you stopped a podcast before for that.
Well, it's no different to me.
Diminished.
Last Friday, obviously, it was a big rollover. It was 177 million. And then on Saturday, when I saw those numbers, I had those written down, but just didn't play the ticket. I mean, it's just... Yeah, it's exactly the same thing, mate.
It's a hell of a shout.
Great.
I think... Well,
Hell of a shout,
look,
Quigliano.
JP, I'll give it you as a steal. I'll give it as a deal there, definitely. But I think that's a hell of a long shot. He's 4.9 million, did you say, JP? That's amazing value.
4.9 million.
And
4.9 million, and he's only been selected by 5.5% of people.
really, yeah, good knowledge there, JP. And the fact is that, yes, he did get a goal and an assist last week, but he did also do the same a couple of weeks ago. So I think he's done that twice in 4 games, which, 4.9 million is will he do it again? Who knows? But this is the fixture in which he certainly could. So I like that tip. Okay, gents, have we got some side tips?
Got plenty.
I imagine we
Plenty.
both do. Would you like to go first, Quigliano, or would you like me to
I
lead?
mean, I don't know whether I should, because then it's going to be, oh, well, I've had all those as well, so there's probably not going to be any point.
Probably right.
Copy and paste Pickering. So you can't avoid the sort of some key fixtures this weekend. Kane obviously wasn't the Gary, so he has to be a side tip. Ericsson has been very creative and more threatening than Dele Alli really in that team, so he's more of a front runner. And also Davis at left back, good assist returns from him, some clean sheet returns as well. I think he's sort of put himself ahead of Rose in that team. So I think, and Spurs are due a blank, aren't they? Provided they do well there's a game. Well,
they've got Rochdale. Yeah, they've got Rochdale this week. So if they win that at home, which they probably will, won't they? Then yeah, they're going to have that blank in 31.
So there's that to think about. You don't want to build too many players there that maybe all going to not play in game week 31. I think Lukaku is the forgotten man.
Mm-hmm.
Been steadily chipping away at Man United, and I think he's somebody who I've backed instead of Kane for a bit of differential, and that's worked out not too badly so far. He was the long shot. It's Arnautovic, good fixture for him. He's leading that line at West Ham, even taking out Chicharito, who was doing quite well while he was injured. So there's a quick one. The other ones I've got are Aubameyang and Ozil. You can't really ignore Arsenal playing Brighton. I know they looked rubbish at the weekend, but I think they'll dominate those weaker teams. They tend to. Shaqiri at Stoke cannot be ignored, and David Silva is somebody who I also think needs to be kept an eye on in terms of his return to Man City. Side tips from me there.
And JP, I guess you had all of those, didn't you?
Every single one, and one or two more. No, very good shouts there from Quigliano. Just to add to those, I mean, Jamie Vardy consistently scores goals across the season. Playing Bournemouth at home, I imagine he'll get a goal there.
Hasn't he scored 5 in 5 games as well? I think it is something like that.
He has, yeah. He's a goal scorer, isn't he? And I think against a Bournemouth defence, I think he's likely to get a goal. West Brom are playing away at Watford, and they've been hideous. Mm-hmm. West Brom, absolutely horrendous. So you could get a differential. I mean, I say it every blooming week, don't I? But Richarlison or Doucouré again. People are fed up of hearing those, but I'm going to stand true, and I think you could even talk about Troy Deeney as a little cheeky, cheap striker, as your third option maybe against West Brom, just to add to the mix. But other than that, I think Quigliano has hit the nail on the head.
Good stuff, gents. Okay, we're going to have a short break, and then we'll be back talking Sergio Aguero and bringing in my new features.
The Fantasy Football Edge Podcast. 90% drivel, 9% ego, and 1% tips.
Okay, gents, we're back. And I want to start off talking about Sergio Aguero. We've got Jesus, who is fit again and is sort of, back in the Man City squad. Also, the Champions League becoming a bit more of a priority for City now. How much of a risk is it keeping Sergio Aguero in your team in terms of game time? Quigliano, I feel you might have some thoughts on that.
Well, I'm an owner. I've not had Aguero when Jesus was fit. and I'll be going back to that strategy. He's too expensive to not be playing for 90 minutes, or like Harry Kane and Lukaku are going to do in their respective teams, and even Aubameyang will he's going to play 90 minutes now for Arsenal. So I'll be looking to get those players in there that are more game time secure for that price. It will cost me some weeks, but then there'll be other weeks where he only gets 30 minutes run out or doesn't even play. So I'll be happy enough for that trade in.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair comment. JP, are your thoughts the same, or do you have a different view?
Totally agree, and I think I would agree with Quigliano in that there are other options that are almost as strong anyway. Like you say, Lukaku's coming back to form. Kane is probably more likely to score than Aguero, in my opinion, based on his goal-scoring record. So you've got other options as well. So I think personally now Jesus is back, get him out your team.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is that they've got the cushion in the league as well. So what are you going to do? You're going to ease Jesus back in the Champions League. It's not going to happen, is it? Whereas if they're looking to get him match fit, they'll get that fitness through the Premier League.
Yeah. I think I'd like to think that this week against Chelsea he will play, but I think beyond that he's certainly a risk. I think that's fair to say. So certainly something I'll be looking at. I'm an owner as well. JP, I don't think you have Aguero, do you?
No, I don't. No, I've got Harry Kane, and my focus too are Harry Kane and Vardy at the moment.
Who's your
I haven't
third?
missed out on. Pardon?
Who's your third?
Oh, I almost don't want to talk about it. It's too embarrassing.
Go on.
Calvert-Lewin on the bench. Who doesn't really score many points.
Well, not from the bench, no. I mean, he didn't score that many when he played.
Kane and Vardy's my front two, all right.
Okay. All these steal or no deals that he brings every week, and he puts Calvert-Lewin in the team. Okay. Right, gents. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? This is the feature that is going to replace Stat Attack. And it's play your players right.
Ooh.
Do you have an inkling as to what the format of this game might be? It's quite revolutionary.
I've got an idea that it might be similar to play your cards right.
It might be similar to play your cards right. So you're familiar with that concept anyway. So
do we have to go higher or lower?
You basically, and it's based on FPL points. So I can't see you. So there's going to be a hell of a lot of trust involved here. Although you'd have to be pretty quick to do this. So no cheating. Please don't look at your screens. And I'm going to pull out a player, and you've both got to give me a higher or lower. So basically, has the next player got more or less points than the player before? Okay?
Oh, this is great.
So, and the first player we're going to start off with is Xherdan Shaqiri. So Shaqiri at Stoke, and I'm going to tell you he's got 119 points. The first one's dead easy. I'm expecting you both to get this. So next out is Patrice Evra, higher or lower?
Patrice Evra.
Patrice Evra, yeah. He's at West Ham. So has Patrice Evra got more or less points than Shaqiri? Lower from JP? Quigliano?
Oh, sorry. In terms of, I thought you were saying if Shaqiri got more. So yeah, Evra is lower.
Okay, yeah, you both right. He's got 0 at the moment.
I'm feeling like getting the next one wrong so we can draw this to an end.
That's brilliant. This is absolutely fantastic. Okay, next out is Choupo-Moting.
Higher.
Lower.
Okay, Quigliano, you're out. What, you thought you had minus points? He's on 96 points. Okay, JP, it's just you to go. Let's see if you can beat the board.
I keep getting it wrong. I thought Chupa was lower than Shaqiri. So wow. My bad. Okay. My bad.
Quigliano's out. Considering he knows play your cards right, he's not doing too well. Okay, so we've just had Choupo-Moting on 96. Next out is Marcus Alonso. Higher or lower, JP?
Higher.
Yes, 139. Next out is Jamie Vardy. Has Jamie Vardy got more or less points? Oh, JP, you've crashed out. It was lower. 128.
Oh, wow.
Okay, wow. So the record stands at 4. So you got 4 in a row right. Okay, that's it, gents. I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was a decent little game. I had a little bit more leverage in it, a little bit more distance in it, but we're not going to get there, unfortunately. So, JP. Well, Quigliano, first of all, did you not enjoy that game?
I'm just trying to put myself in somebody who's paid up for this podcast
I've already said
service.
this
I'm just
week's
trying
free, so
to. I can picture them maybe driving to work, and they're like, "What the hell am I doing with my life? Listening to these buffoons."
Do you know what? I actually think this game is quite entertaining, and I also think it's quite educational because, well, look at that. JP he thought Jamie Vardy would have more points than Alonso. He might rethink his strategy for his team. Alonso's cheaper than Vardy, so I think it's pretty educational as well. And I'm just going to keep the rest of the education to myself.
It was a good attempt, mate. I like the innovation.
Good stuff. Right, if you thought that was innovative, this is special. This is special. So, Quigliano, just to set the scene, just to explain this, JP has 30 seconds to answer a question or talk about a topic that I pick, that I sort of bring to the table. And he's got to talk for 30 seconds. There's no pausing, prevaricating. He's just got to get on with it and speak for 30 seconds, hopefully in quite an informative way. Last week...
Is he allowed to say the...
No, he's not. So he's got to try not to do that. And try not to spend the first 15 seconds literally talking utter nonsense like he did last week.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
JP, I hope for the sake of this question and this feature that you're familiar with Rene Higuita, the former Colombian international goalkeeper, famous for the scorpion kick.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, JP, you're a footballer. You do play a bit of football, don't you? So,
I do.
What I want you to do in these 30 seconds is compare your own playing style to that of Rene Higuita, the former Colombian international goalkeeper, famous for his high-risk sweeper-keeper style and flair. As I said, also famous for the scorpion kick. So you're comparing your style of football to his. Go.
Well, actually, as a goalkeeper, he was very well known for being able to run at pace with the ball. So he'd actually run out from the back. Very similar to myself playing left midfield. We can both run at pace with the ball. We're both able to get round players. And actually, his passing distribution was very, very good. Now, in terms of the skills that he showed, obviously, it was a massive moment of finesse when he did that sort of backward somersault. Now, I can't quite somersault, but I have been known to score 1 or 2 overhead kicks in the past. So actually, we share a lot of similarities. The only thing that's different, really, is that he's Colombian and I'm English. I don't play at quite a high level as he does. How long have we got left? Good Lord.
That was bang on. To be fair, JP,
take it.
the timer went as you said that. Wow, JP, I'm going to tell you, you didn't pull any punches there. You were fast out of the traps there. That was
I'm happy.
High speed.
I'm happy.
Quigliano, marks out of 10 for JP there.
I mean, in terms of success in the game, I'll give him 10 out of 10. In terms of success in life, he's getting 1 out of 10 for being an absolute nerd and agreeing to that game.
I couldn't believe the passion that he had. And I've got to tell you, anyone that may still be listening to this podcast at this point, there was no preparation on that for JP whatsoever.
I had no idea.
There was zero prep. He didn't have the question in advance or anything. So JP, fair play. I mean, some will say the podcast has lost its way this week. I think that is also fair to say. Right, gents.
Feedback is needed on this. Feedback is needed.
Well, yeah, let's get some feedback in. Okay, and we haven't been drinking, I promise you. We're going to finish out the pod this week with our captain picks, gents. So, Quigliano, as you've been absent for a while, I'm going to let you go first. So, who is going to be your captain this week?
Again, I'm looking for more of a sword than a shield. So I'm looking to gain points back on people. Example last week, Salah was the front runner. I went Firmino. Now, didn't really pay off, but that's the type of attitude I'm taking. So as someone who might be dropping Aguero this week, it will be Harry Kane as captain.
Ooh, okay. I appreciate your honesty there, because you've just pretty much given us your transfer as well, so thank you for that. And JP, you're captain for the week, so let's just, in the interests of keeping it interesting, maybe stay away from Harry Kane.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to anyway. I was going to say Salah. I'm going to add to it. I'm going to be honest with you. I was actually planning on a triple captain this week. Ooh. And I am seriously considering triple captaining Mohamed Salah against Newcastle at home.
You're going to say Moses Salah then? I
nearly did slip.
Why triple captain, JP?
I just feel like he's been in such good form at the moment, and he's just been tearing teams apart. And Newcastle, I don't know. I've just got a feeling they're going to go to Liverpool and get absolutely smashed. So
What about a double game week?
Could be a double game. I could save it. I'm looking for differentials. I know no one else is going to do it. So
get your manager of the month.
I'm a little bit far behind, so I'm sort of thinking, you know what? Might take a little gamble, see what happens.
Just before I come in with my captain pick, because it's interesting actually, because I think Quigliano, we talked last week about this blank game week 31 that's coming up, and we were both of the opinion of potentially using our free hit chip for that week. You haven't got that chip left, have you?
No.
So what's your... You must be thinking about that week right now. You've got to have that in mind, surely. Or have you got a wild card
I've
left?
already made a couple of transfers last week because I had those in my sleeves to get Martina in at Everton, and I can't remember what my other transfer was. I got rid of Iwobi for somebody who is also playing in that game week. So people are probably thinking, God, he had Iwobi in his team, and I'm listening to these tips. But that was a short-term fix and got good returns on him. I've already made a couple of transfers basically, but I'm not going to rearrange the team.
No,
for that
I don't think
game
you can,
week.
yeah.
You know, there's no one really to invest in. So as long as I've got some players to keep myself ticking over and not lose too much ground, I'll be happy with that.
And I think going back to the long shot this week in Chan, I think that's a decent selection if that is you and you don't have that chip left. Get your team set up is a decent one because obviously Liverpool do play that week and it makes sense to have 3 players. Okay, gents, I think my captain pick, you've not left me much, so I'm probably going to look to Arsenal in that Brighton fixture. I actually think if Arsenal get spanked on Thursday night again by City, then it's going to be tough for them. They're going to have their tails between their legs and the confidence is going to be low. But they've got to respond in some way. And who knows, they might get a decent result at home against City. They're going to have to probably take a slightly different approach to what they did in the Cup. But I think, come on, Arsenal have got enough to beat Brighton pretty comfortably. And I'm going to go Aubameyang. I think that could be a game in which he could pretty much run the show. So I'm going to go Aubameyang. And, I probably won't actually go Aubameyang, but it's, for keeping the sort of interest at the end there, that's who I'm going to say on the podcast. So thank you for showing me all your cards, though. That was very nice of you both. Right, gents, that is it. Quigliano, will you ever return again is the question.
I mean, when I was listening to JP for 30 seconds straight, I can tell you now it was a definite no. But, time's a healer. I may forget this episode and return, so fingers crossed on that.
I will tell you, we haven't quite reached the heady heights that we had in terms of listenership when we were Fantasy Football Tips. We used to get about 2,500-3,000 listeners a week. We're currently getting about 900, but that's still 900 people that are listening potentially to. Well, look, if they're still listening, I really do feel sorry for you. And please, please, please come back next week and we'll try and just tell us what you like. Tell us what you like.
Are there 900 inmates in Guantanamo Bay that are currently being punished? Being punished and being forced to listen to this
Torture.
podcast?
Yeah, quite
potentially.
possible.
That's where the subscribers are coming from.
So at least we're of service to someone. Guys, have a great game week 29 and we'll be back for game week 30. See you soon.
The Fantasy Football Edge Podcast, giving you the edge over your rivals.